distinguished guests of honor, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I said good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Can't hear you. Assalamu alaikum. Before I commence my talk, I'd like to request you all to give a huge round of applause to all the facilitators and the organizers of this program. Give them a big hand, please. And next up, give a round of applause to all the speakers. Give a round of applause to Mr. Nabe and all the other speakers who are going to proceed after me. A big hand, please. Okay. Now, how many of you here want to enroll yourselves into university? Raise your hands. Okay, excellent. Now, let me ask you, what are some of the qualities that you need to possess before enrolling yourself into university? Because you see, after high school is where normally you are told life starts, right? This is what we are told. Whenever we graduate from high school, we are told now is the time to live your life. So my question to you is, before enrolling yourselves into universities, what are some of the qualities you need to possess? What are the characteristics you need to have? Please. Am I that scary? Okay. Yes, ma'am. You want to come? Sure, sure. A big hand, please.
Hi, everyone. I think before anything, I have to make sure that my results are good.
Okay, fine. Okay, good. You need to make sure your results are good. Excellent. Anyone else? What's something that you need to possess? What quality do you need to have? Come on, it's not such a hard question. I'm not asking you an algebraic formula. I didn't ask you the law of Newton. I'm just asking you, what are some of the qualities you need to have? You need to have an ambition, right? You need to set your goals. Fine. So I've given you one. You get an idea now what I'm trying to say. So can you give me any other element you need to possess before getting into university? Come on, come on. Please. You, sir, what qualities do you need to have before enrolling yourself into university? Huh? You have an idea? Please.
Let me try to teach people. This one I need to be to apply as university. That's what I need to start.
You need to?
To apply.
Okay, good. So you can't enter into university without thinking of applying, right? You need to have a goal that I'm going to apply. Okay, so one quality I'm going to talk about is self-esteem. How many of you have heard this term, self-esteem? Have you heard of this term? Okay, now is where my talk starts, so now you can start, keep my time. Okay, so what do you understand by the word self-esteem? When I said how many of you know the definition of self-esteem, all of you are like, it's easy. Now when I'm asking the definition, nobody's saying anything, alright?
It's understanding what you want, it's understanding what you want, why you want it, and how you're going to achieve it.
Fantastic, okay. That's one definition. Very good. Anybody else? What does self-esteem mean? One more answer and then I'll give the definition. A textbook definition. Hi, come on. What do you understand by the word self-esteem? Yes, Mu'min? Good.
I think self-esteem is self-valuation and self-awareness. You know about yourself and you know your value.
Very good answer. So for both those who have answered, a round of applause for them, please. Hello. Okay, I won't continue my talk until you clap properly. Very good. So self-esteem, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is confidence and satisfaction in oneself when you recognize your own ability. 6 billion people, I think there are about 6 to 7 billion people around the world. 7 billion people. If they tell you you're worth it, but you yourself think I'm not worth, then you aren't worth it. But if 7 billion people tell you you are not worth it, but you yourself have that belief that no, I'm worth it, then you're worth it. So that's self-esteem, self-respect, self-regard. Okay? So having a good self-esteem will allow you to have a positive mindset, a positive worldview, okay? A positive outlook on life. So these are signs of a healthy self-esteem. Number 1, avoid dwelling on the past. If you have a strong self-esteem, you are someone who forgets the past. Imetokea, basi, nisonge mbele. Let me just move forward in life. Another sign of a person with a high self-esteem, express your needs. If you want something, you say it. You do not fear failure. These are signs of a healthy self-esteem. Now, what if I want to see if my self-esteem is high or low? What about low? Low, you believe others are better than you. You believe that everything in life is negative. You have a negative outlook of life. You fear failure. You have trouble saying no. We'll come to that, inshallah, in our discussion. So there's a quote from Mark Twain. How many of you have heard of Mark Twain? Have you ever heard of Mark Twain? Okay, who is Mark Twain?
He's the person who influenced the self-development in the past.
Very good, one of the pioneers of the self-development industry. So Mark Twain, an American writer, humanist, and was an entrepreneur as well. He has a very interesting quote. He says, a man cannot be comfortable, a man or a woman that is, without his or her own approval. You must approve yourself. So say it with me. I approve myself. If you don't say it, that means you're not approving yourself. I approve myself. I am that I am. Good. Ralph Waldo Emerson, an American essayist, lecturer, philosopher, he says, what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So there's a story about a farmer who planted pumpkins on his land. Are you with me? All right. So for a reason, this farmer, he took the small pumpkin hanging by the vine and he put it into a glass jar. You know what's a glass jar? Yeah. Now that pumpkin, it grew, but it did not grow beyond the boundaries of the jar, right? Obviously. This is like your story in life. When you limit yourself, you won't grow beyond your own limitations. When you say, Bana, I cannot earn more than 300,000 shillings a month, you will not earn more than 300,000 shillings a month. Many students who say, I'll get a C, they end up getting a C. And those who say, I'll get an A star, they end up getting an A star. So you don't limit your mind. We must outgrow our ambitions, and self-limiting beliefs are a dent towards our success. How many of you have heard of Shiv Khera? Shiv Khera? Mr. Nabe? Yeah. Okay, who is Mr. Shiv Khera? Oh, all right.
Shiv Khera is I've written one of these books. If you can remind me.
Absolutely right. Thank you. So Shiv Khera has written a book by the name of You Can Win. Okay? You can. You know, Mr. Nabe likes doing these activities, so let me just take a page out of his book. Look at your partner. Look at your partner and tell your partner, you can win. Come on, unless you doubt the capabilities of your partner. So can you please say, even the speakers included. I know Mr. Nabe didn't trouble us, but I have a tendency to trouble the high table. So please look at each other and say, you can win. Wewe ni mshindi. All right. Okay? Sawa, sawa. All right. So there was a young executive. He was hired. Okay? A few months later, he was promoted. Now this executive, this young executive was shocked. How am I promoted? I can't believe it myself. He did not understand his own value, his own worth. So you know what he did? He said, I need to make sure everyone knows that I'm a busy person. You know, when you're given a huge position, like, nataka watu wajue bana mimi sasa ni mtu mkubwa. I'm a big guy. So what he did one day was, there was a person who knocked the door of his office. Can I come in? Yes, please. What he did was he took his phone and he was pretending to talk, telephone. He was pretending to talk. Hello, VP, salama? Kwema? Yeah. And that visitor entered the room. Why was he doing it? To show the visitor that look how busy I am. Yeah, I can handle it. Amna shida kabisa. When to me to barua. Na ile email, sawa, amna shida, sawa. After a while, put down the phone. He says to the visitor, the young executive says to the visitor, how can I help you? What can I do for you? The visitor said, sir, I have come to fix your telephone. So that means the telephone wasn't working, but he was wearing a mask. That's what we do in life. We want to wear a mask. We hide behind our own true self. Okay? So, what do you want to accomplish by lying? You won't accomplish anything. Therefore, you need to believe in yourself. You need to be honest in all your affairs. So, I will mention only 3 ways, quickly. 3 ways, if Mr. Eben allows me, the MC. Ananyonea kwa muda huyo. 3 ways in which you can improve your self-esteem. Okay, so number 1. As Mr. Nabe earlier illustrated, build positive relationships. In order to increase and enhance your self-esteem, you must build positive relationships. You must avoid negative people. How many of you here have never had negative people in your lives? Please raise your hand. You've never had anyone negative. Can someone please raise their hand? Are you a person who have never had a negative person in your life? Because if you are that person, then you are an angel. I must come for counseling to you. John Maxwell. You've heard of John Maxwell? Yeah? Yes, Miss Immaculate? Okay. Fantastic. So John Maxwell is a leadership coach and an author. He writes in his book, Relationships 101. He says 90% of prison inmates, those people who are in prison in the US, were initially told in their childhood, kwamba wewe utaenda jela. Now of course they were told in English. I'm just using Swahili to make my point clearer. But they were told, you will end up in prison. Wewe jambazi, wewe mkatili. So they actually became a criminal. Therefore, if you spend time with negative people, even if you are the most positive person in the world, they will still convert you and change you to their side. They say, you're thinking of becoming a billionaire? Not possible with you. No. So build positive relationships. Talk with people who are positive. That's number 1. What's number 1? To enhance your self-esteem? Okay. Number 2. Become more assertive and learn how to say no. Learn how to say. This is one quality that, alhamdulillah, I possessed in my high school. Twende kula nje? No, I have my priorities. Let's go meet up somewhere. In fact, I would still go with my classmates. But whenever I would go, they would be surprised. Kama, Ejaz amekuja leo kula na sisi. which means I set my priorities right. And therefore learn how to say no. Peer pressure. Someone can come and say, onja kidogo, bangi. Try drugs. No. Let's go have some drinks. No. Let's try a cigarette. Just you're my friend. No. Learn how to say, all right. So, there's a quote from John Maxwell again. Learn to say no to the good so you can say yes to the best. Sawa, eh? Are we understanding one another? I'm almost through. Robin Sharma. Have you heard of Robin Sharma? Okay, who's Robin Sharma? You said yes. Everyone said yes. Who's Robin Sharma? Okay. Robin Sharma is a writer and a motivational speaker. He says every time you say yes to something that is unimportant, you say no to something that is important. So every time you say yes, let's go out to eat, you're saying no to reading. Every time you say, let's go party, you're saying no to watch a good movie. And I'm emphasizing, yes, watch good movies. Movies have a lot of lessons. So that's number 2. Learn how to say no. Number 3, no gossiping, no condemning, no criticizing, no abusive language. Number 3, and my final point, eliminate self-criticism and introduce self-compassion. You must be compassionate with yourself, because there is no one in this world who loves you and understands you more than you. Nobody understands you like yourself. And this is a very interesting concept in Buddhism, the religion. That first understand yourself, then only will you understand God. The Prophet even has a saying, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he says, in order to understand God, you must first understand yourself. So this is number 3. Remove self-criticism. Introduce self-compassion. If you make a mistake, don't reprimand yourself. Just say, it's fine. I'm a human being. Mistakes happen. Before I leave the floor, let me ask you all, what are the 3 ways you can enhance your self-esteem? If you are unable to answer, I'll start my whole speech again. Build positive relationships, okay, like my relationship with the MC here. Wonderful, positive relationship. My relationship with Mr. Al-Baiti. Number 2, I said no today morning. I'm not going to sleep. I said yes to Mr. Al-Baiti, that yes, I'm going to come and talk. So I said no to something that is unimportant, and I said yes to something that is important. Eben could have said, I want to go watch a movie. But he said, of course, there are no movies coming out right now, thanks to COVID. Who's going to shoot for a movie right now? But he said no to something else. He said, no, I'll come and MC. Yes to something important. Number 3, remove self-criticism, introduce self-compassion. Ladies and gentlemen, students, the esteemed high table, and I use the word esteemed on purpose, because that's my topic, self-esteem. The esteemed high table, thank you very much.